Okay, everybody, welcome back to my channel. And today I have another video for you guys from Cartoon Universe. This one talking about a show called Arcane. Now, if you haven't watched it, I do definitely recommend you go watch it because it is really, really good. You've probably heard people talking about it online, talking about how good it is. And all I will say is it is as good as a lot of people are making it out to be. If you have not watched it, again, I highly recommend it. Now, before you watch this video, if you're someone who hasn't watched it yet, this video will contain spoilers because they're going to be talking about the ending. And since I don't want to spoil it for you in any way, please click off this video, go watch it, and then come back and watch this video if you still want to watch it. So just to let you know, if you're still here, you're probably either someone who has watched the show or you are just like spoilers don't bother you in any way, shape, or form. Like it's not going to stop you from watching the show, which if that's the case, I understand. And also, before we get into this, I have to let you know that I'm going to be leaving a link to the video in the description box down below, as well as a link to the actual channel. So if you want to, please follow those links. Go watch the actual video. Don't just watch my video watching them. Watch the actual video. Leave likes, share, comments in order to help it out with the algorithm, as well as following the link to their channel and subscribing and watching their other videos. With that being said, and out of the way, let's go ahead and watch this.
League of Legends is a long-running franchise filled to the brim with lore that
Love
I
the
can't
opening, by
even
the way.
begin to understand.
From what I heard, it's the same company that made the openings for Game of Thrones, Daredevil, and Westworld. I don't know if that's true. I haven't had a chance to look into it, but if that's the case, probably explains why it looks so good.
In the 3 weeks that they took to release this amazing new prequel series, Arcane. My name is Deep Cut, welcome back to Cartoon Universe, and today let's discuss if Arcane is the kind of series you have to have played League of Legends in order to enjoy.
So just to comment on that real quick, sorry for pausing so much. I personally don't think you need to know anything about League of Legends in order to enjoy it because I went into it completely blind. All I knew was that the game existed, but I didn't know the characters, I didn't know the lore, so I was basically completely blind going into this show. And I had no problem enjoying it. Yeah, I'm sure there were probably Easter eggs in there for League of Legends players, people who do know it, but it's not going to stop you from enjoying the show, is what I'm trying to say.
To try and explain the ending and what it may mean for future seasons. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you like Arcane, as we should be having a really cool Arcane surprise coming really soon. Now, I knew absolutely nothing about Arcane before going into the first episode, other than that the creators of the show made it clear behind the scenes that their intention was to create a show for longtime League of Legends fans. As a prequel, the show has a bit of prequelitis, but in a good way. For those who don't know what prequelitis is, it is when a prequel doesn't just simply present a before story, but rather it focuses on the origins of its characters and plots with new twists and turns that the audience wouldn't expect, showing how people go from a wildly different beginning to who you know them as in the present story. The series opens with a scene of a land ravaged by war, and 2 characters walking through the fire and smoke. These characters are introduced to us as Vi and Powder.
So, sorry, I just want to talk real quick about something I just said, which is the fact that the show suffers from prequelitis. And this is where I think that it's probably better if you don't know anything about League, if you're going to watch this show. Because if you did watch it, then odds are a lot of the things that happened in the show are things that you probably already knew was going to happen because, you know the lore, the world, so it probably wasn't all that shocking to you. And this is where I think that someone like me who doesn't know anything about it is probably in a better position because I was able to be completely surprised by everything that happened. And believe me, there are some surprises in this show. Especially what happens in episode 3. Like, I seriously did not expect them to go that route. Like, I really thought they were going to go with a more stereotypical series of events. But no, what ends up happening is so much better. And it made me respect the show a lot more because they actually chose to go there.
Who longtime fans from League of Legends actually know to be Jinx, the sort of chaotic evil villain from the series, here presented as just a child. In League of Legends, there are some references to these 2 characters knowing each other, but it was never explored within the games as far as I have been able to tell. While we are being introduced to these two girls as sisters who do their best to take care of each other in their childhoods, this was an instant and massive reveal to fans of the game series who had no reason to believe that they were related to each other before this moment or that they were this particularly close.
Okay, so this is interesting. So they didn't reveal that they were sisters in the lore of the show. Okay, so there were surprises for people who knew things about League. Okay, well that's good to know.
In this opening scene, we get a snapshot of what the world currently is for these characters, and across the next 3 episodes, we see this reaffirmed for us. This destructive battle, which seemingly led to the demise of Vi and Powder's parents, was instigated by Vander, a rugged fighter who was trying to bring equality between Piltover and Zaan. Piltover is a thriving metropolis of privilege and wealth, while Zaan is an undercity that has to deal with Piltover's pollution runoff and wealth hoarding. After this battle with Vander, which ultimately just led to harsher lives for the people of Zaan, he decides to take Vi and Powder under his wing as a sort of surrogate father. Flash forward a few years, and Vi has created her own ragtag group of friends that are Robin Hooding around Piltover, looking for stuff to steal from the rich to make the lives of the people of Zaan better.
Also, something interesting that I noticed, and I love when shows do this, when they have, little subtle things happen, and they'll sort of trust the audience to be able to pick up what's going on instead of just having it be, overly stated, which because you see Milo do the whole finger gun thing, and then you see Jinx later on do the same thing. And to me, I thought that was interesting because, Milo is technically the one who first started calling her a Jinx, and then later on she basically adopts it and accepts it. And you also see, whenever she's having her episodes, you see like a shadow of Milo. Basically, and again, I love things like this. It's basically like the show is telling you that everything that Milo was saying about her is still in her head. It's still influencing her actions moving forward after the events of episode 3. Just love little subtle things like that.
Ragtag group of friends that are Robin Hooding around Piltover, looking for stuff to steal from the rich to make the lives of the people of Zaan better.
Let me know if you noticed that, by the way, or if I'm the only one. I'm sure I'm not the only one.
If you haven't played the games, this arrangement isn't all too shocking, but for those who did play the games, it comes with a pretty big reveal. In the games, Vi is what is called an enforcer for the city of Piltover. Enforcers are something akin to police, though they are largely responsible for enforcing the status quo that has the people of Piltover being so privileged and the people of Zaan being so oppressed. And part of Vi's story will of course be how she did a 180 from fighting against the Enforcers and what they stand for to becoming one of them by the time that the main story in the game starts.
So this is interesting. So I am curious, okay, how does she become an enforcer? Because she, kind of made it clear that she's, trying to fight for her people, and yet later on she fights for Piltover. I am curious to see how that happens.
The story escalates with Vi struggling to get Powder to be an efficient member of the team. She isn't just lagging behind the others in terms of skill, but she has a tendency to mess things up. The show is divided into mini arcs that release 3 episodes at a time and tend to tell a complete story within those 3 episodes that of course build into the bigger story of the season and the series as a whole.
Which, by the way, I do think was a smart move for them to release the episode in batches. I do hope though, however, in season 2 they actually release the episodes weekly, as in 1 episode every week. Because I do think that's a smart move and it's going to keep people talking about the show a lot more, for a lot longer.
By the end of this first arc, we see Vander being kidnapped by local bad boy Silco, and Vi decides to leave Powder behind to go off and save him with her band of ragtag misfits. The interesting thing about prequels is that, if you play the games, you already know which characters have a guaranteed survival, such as Vi and Powder. When new characters are introduced, they can often be seen as expendables, as you can't kill off characters that exist later in the games, and you need someone there to kill off for dramatic effect. In this way, being a fan of the games perhaps actively hurts the viewing experience, but for people like me who had never played the game, seeing who died in this 3rd episode was a pretty big shock. Spoilers ahead, so turn back now if you're watching this without watching the show. Unless you like spoilers,
like I said,
in which
spoilers.
case, enjoy. Everyone dies but Vi and Powder. All of this is thanks to Powder perfecting a cool monkey bomb that ends up blowing up everyone except for Vi and ruining her rescue mission. This probably wasn't too surprising for fans of the game, but for those of us going in blind, it balanced out the experience of the prequel by giving us stakes and surprises that we don't know the answers to, even if fans of the game likely did. It is here that Vi abandons Powder, calling her a jinx in a very pointed way that eventually leads to Powder adopting the nickname. Powder ends up being taken in by the baddie Silco, and Vi gets captured by the Enforcers and imprisoned. I did a little more research before getting to this episode, so Powder's dark moment and that beginning of her transformation to Jinx wasn't exactly a surprise to me. But for others who went in blind and had no idea who Jinx was before this moment, I'd love to know your opinions down below. Over the course of the next 6 episodes, we see the characters continue to grow and develop, with yet another time jump to help Powder.
Just to talk about what he said, again, this is probably one of the reasons why it's better to go into this show without having known anything about the lore of the game and the characters, because that episode definitely was, that episode definitely was a shock. Like, I did not expect that. I really thought that all of them were going to make it out alive, and then, nope, they fucking die. Oh, man.
Her as her new alter ego, Jinx. Jinx has been driven mad by what happened with her sister, and seems to have been further pushed into insanity by Silco. Jinx has multiple voices in her head, some of which seem to be the voices of people that died because of her, even her own friends, as well as Vi, who she believed to be dead following their final confrontation years ago. In these second and third arcs, we see Vi get out of prison and, with the help of an enforcer, find and track down her sister. While she still isn't on the side of the enforcers as a whole, we can see how her relationship with this woman is starting to bring...
Okay, so if I gotta say something, this is something that did kind of, I guess you could say, kind of bothered me, because, like, right after getting out of jail, they show her that she's still good at parkour, which I don't know how, because they imply that she's been in jail for years, and yet somehow her skills are still, like, incredibly good. Like, they haven't gone rusty and like at all. I don't know. Because I don't think the show's perfect. Like, I think you can definitely find some criticisms, and I think this is definitely one for me. And it's a bit nitpicky. I know it's not that big of a deal, but I have wondered how, after being in jail for years, somehow her skills with parkour are still, top notch. If I had to point out some problems, this would definitely be one of the things that for me kind of bothered me.
Down her sister. While she still isn't on the side...
I mean, unless you're telling me that prison she was in had, like, a parkour course or something. It's just... Well, not a course. God, what's it called? I guess like a playground that she can practice in, which I don't know. That just seems... It's just something that kind of bothers me. Again, it's a nitpick. It's not that big of a deal.
Forces as a whole, we can
and I guess you could say it does speak to the quality of the show, if that's one of the things that kind of bothers me, because everything else is so goddamn good.
How her relationship with this woman is starting to bridge the gap between her origins as a thief from Zon to what we know she will be in the games, an enforcer. A large focus of the series is, of course, on the class struggle between Piltover and Zon, and with the help of Vi and her new girlfriend, and Jace, a new agreement between the people of Piltover and the Kingpin of Zon seems like a viable option for peace, though Jace still wants some sort of retribution for the attacks that Zilco is responsible for. As the Kingpin, they can't execute him since they are trying to make peace with his crime ring, but they are willing to make peace if he gives up Jinx for execution. Vi tries to save Jinx from the dark side she is going down, and in her insanity, Jinx ends up killing Zilco, the Kingpin. Even as he dies at her hands, however, he emphasizes that she is perfect the way she is.
Sorry, I'll let him finish.
The insanity he instilled in her, the chaotic choices she makes, are all part of what makes him love her, seemingly cementing in Jinx's mind that she doesn't have to change because she has that validation, meaning she now believes she's too far gone to return to Vi and try to be better. He insists that he was never going to sell her out for peace with Piltover,
because I want to say something
for the council. The story ends...
Okay, so I just want to talk about Silco for a sec. Let me see if I can get there we go. So when it comes to Silco, again, this is, in my opinion, a testament to just how good the show is, because I think a lot of people probably fully expected, maybe even me included, Silco to just be like a one-dimensional bad guy. But he's not. Like, he's actually a well-rounded character. Like, yeah, I don't agree with a lot of things he's done, especially when it comes to, Jinx. I think that he is, he basically enabled her to go down this road instead of maybe, getting her some help to try to move past what happened, because you can tell that she's still bothered by what happened. She's still suffering. And instead he chose to push it, or not push it, but enable that her behavior. But the one thing that, again, you can't deny is that they do make it clear that he did care about her, and it's again one of the reasons why I love the show, is because the characters are like, they're not one note. Like, they're well rounded. They feel like real people, and I just, God, I love this show. All right, let's move forward. Let's go back to where we were. So where's it? There we go. I think it's, here.
The council. The story ends with Jinx blasting a cute little bomb over at the council of Piltover, and the season ends just as the bomb is about to go off on the council. Now, for those who haven't played the game, just about anything could happen here, which honestly makes the show even more fun than for the people who played the games, in my opinion. However, as I said before, some characters are known to be in the games and others not.
No, not
some
this.
Characters may survive anyways.
Yeah, this. Look at this. Beautiful.
Before dying or being written out of the.
Sorry, before we continue, I just want to see something real quick. And again, just another testament to just how good this show is. And it's something that I haven't talked about yet, which is the animation. The animation is beautiful in this show. And just to show you again, I love this set right here, and I'm gonna mute it just so you can enjoy it. Let me see if I can find it right here. I think it's, give it a sec. Wait, it's, look at this. Look how beautiful this is. Absolutely beautiful. Every episode has top-notch animation, but this, for me, I think was my favorite moment. Just from an animation standpoint, it's fucking phenomenal. All right, let's move back to where it is. Where were we? Let's see if I can find it. I think we were, here. All right, sorry about that. I just really wanted to talk about how much I just love. Again, the animation from beginning to end is fucking beautiful, but that moment for me is what stood out the most.
Or dying or being written out of the plot before the main game series, so we cannot say for certain who is going to die here, but we can say for sure what characters, like Jace and Victor, will survive. Victor in particular has a very different appearance in the games, one that is seemingly mechanical. Okay. While he is sick and dying at this point in the series, we have seen him get mechanical augmentations already, and it seems clear that he will continue to add machinery to himself until there's very little of what we know of him as remains.
So it's going to be kind of like a Darth Vader situation, where he started off pretty human, but then slowly he became more machine than man. It's interesting.
The blast could end up killing off the entire rest of the council as far as I'm aware, and even come close to fully killing Victor. However, that isn't the only option. While these characters will likely die or be written out of the show before it catches up with the timeline of the games, as I said before, it is also possible that the characters from the show will come out of hiding within the games and reveal that they had been around the entire time, and I'm sure a lot of fans would love to see some of these new characters brought into the games in some way, but so far, only time will tell. While I ultimately think the show is a great experience, even if you haven't played the games, I was really confused in the beginning, and am curious what the experience of other people was who had never played the games before. Let me know your guys' opinion in a comment down below, and I'll see you guys next time.
So I think that's the end of the video. Okay, so this is very, very interesting. Well, of course it's interesting, duh, but God, this show was so good. Seriously, again, if you haven't watched it, I can't recommend it enough, and I am definitely happy that they announced that there's going to be a season 2. I am really, really looking forward to it. Now, I have not. I know I probably missed the the time to talk about it. But if you guys want, if season 2 does come out, I could do a review of that if you guys want me to. So let me know in the comments if you want me to do a review of season 2 when it does come out. And I don't know if they're going to do the same thing where they release 3 episodes, wait a bit, and then release another 3 episodes, wait a bit, and then release another 3 episodes. I personally really hope that they go with the weekly model where they release 1 episode a week in order to keep the conversation going and also to let the show last for a lot longer than season 1 did. In my opinion, I think that's the right move. And let me know your thoughts on the show. If you watched it, what did you think of it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? If you have some problems with the show or the first season, let me know what they are in the comments. And also, while you're here, consider leaving a like, sharing this video, and subscribing if you haven't. Not just to my video. Again, go subscribe to their channel, go watch their videos, and go support them. Don't just watch my video. Watching their videos, and also other content creators like me who, make videos watching other people's content. Just because go support the actual creators, not just me. With that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you for the next one. Bye for now.